What's up, everyone? It's your man Sean Zattel, about to depart from Los Angeles back home to Vegas, and just thought I'd give an update on my take of the Teofimo Rolly fight. I don't got a pick right now, actually. I liked my analysis better with Raheem a couple days ago. I think that was more sound analysis overall of the fight when I was talking about Rolly's improvements and everything, as opposed to armchair psychology of the press conference and things like that. I mean, some of that still applies. I still think if the fight is fought in the center of the ring, and Rolly, I still don't see Rolly punching off the back foot a whole lot, even though he does have some spring in his step to move about sometimes, but he doesn't really punch out of those movements. But that being said, Rolly actually has a trainer. You know, he actually has a corner in Ishmael Salas, and I talked to Tio Sr. I'll post that. He still is very hesitant to accept his part in the blame of the performance against Shakur Stevenson early this year. And I still see Rolly as the guy who is getting better. Now, does that mean he's necessarily better overall than Teofimo, even with some improvements? Not necessarily. We'll find out next month. But I'm leaving LA with no pick. I just got to get that on the record. And just rewatching some of their fights again this morning and last night, I just see Rolly. Again, he's improving with some patience under Ishmael Salas. I think Teofimo's quicker, but quickness and pure, what you call fast, are two separate things. And rewatching Tio's performance against Barboza, he wasn't all that accurate. You know, he was a step ahead of Barboza. Barboza isn't athletic enough to keep up with Teofimo, and Rolly's more athletic than Barboza is. And what I mean with the Barboza fight, not that accurate. Not like he lit him up or hurt him that many times. And defensively, still relying on his reflexes a lot and things like that. His defensive system isn't improving. And I see Rolly in little ways tightening up his timing, tightening up how he holds his hand up, like the right hand in the Ryan Garcia fight. So just little things like that. Just looks like a bigger guy at 147 these days. So he might be the more natural welterweight. He is the bigger puncher. He has some good timing now and patience. And Salas is slowly improving him. Remember, those first couple fights, the first one might have been Pitbull Cruz, but even Manuel Jaimes, he still was rough around the edges. I mean, he always will be, but he was rough around the edges with Salas. And I just see him improving, doing little things better, finding his style as slowing down the pace more, having the threat with the punching power, the explosiveness, and being a little bit more disciplined, having good timing with it too. So if you really want my better analysis on the fight up to this point, I would go watch the video with Raheem. My video from a day or two ago, you know, you overthink your picks a little bit, getting on the record and second guessing your first impression and then second guessing that second impression, all that. Look, I don't have a pick right now. I do think Rolly's getting better. I do think Tio hasn't gotten better. Now, whether Rolly's improvements are gonna make up the gap from when Tio was clearly the superior fighter to him a couple years ago, that remains to be seen. But it's very possible that he has made up the gap. And again, Tio, who hasn't gotten better, relying on the same bag of tricks and style, his body does look like it could use a move up to 147. We'll see if that replenishes some of his power, but he hasn't stopped anyone since Pedro Campa. And it's been 5 years since he stopped someone. And he's fighting a better athlete than he did against Barboza, went the distance with Steve Claggett and got touched up. His only good performance in the last 5 years outside of Campa, which is made to order, was Josh Taylor, and Josh Taylor was on the way down. So, and Ryan is a bigger guy than Teofimo and a more explosive puncher than Teofimo. So we'll see if, and I talked to Salas over the weekend. I'll post that interview tomorrow along with Tio Sr. He thinks Tio's slowing down. We'll see if that's the case August 22nd, but you know, I can't fully call it right now. But if you want my better analysis on this up to this point, go watch the video with Raheem a few days ago. That's where I broke it all down, I think, stronger than I did leaving the Avalon in Hollywood back on Thursday. So from LA, no pick right now. Maybe I won't pick because this is a weird fight with two weird guys at two weird stages in their career. So maybe it might just have to let this be one that you let play out. May the best man win. But or I'll just have a pick, you know, after the weigh-in fight week in Vegas. That's more likely. But for now, no pick from LA. Keep it locked in on the channel, and see you guys later. Peace.